So Renault got off to a fantastic start with those 2 goals.
Yeah, listen, delighted with the way we took our chances. Young Max getting off the score sheet. Charlie Munro with another goal, a potential goal of the season. The way where he drove and opened the goal up, and you think, yeah, you're cruising. You're 2-0. They then score, which is disallowed, which I think should have stood. They then get a ridiculous penalty, which when the referee looks back on it, he'll know that he's got it wrong. But maybe that evens itself up for the one that we disallowed. So it's at 2-1. We come in at half time. We talk about the next goal being crucial, and we switch off. We really switch off. Defensively, we weren't organised. We weren't set. You look where the ball goes. Maybe Pat will think he's got to do better for that, but it is slippy. But then we show again great character, and we go 3-2 up. After and then there's a red card in the game, and then the third goal's horrendous to give away. We're not set off the free kick. We're not talking. We're not passing on. We just allow too much space and time, and we get caught, and that's disappointing because the way we should be set up shouldn't allow that to happen. And listen, people say it's hard to play against 10 men. It absolutely is. They suffocate space. They make it hard for you. But I just thought we could have been braver to pass around. I think we could have been braver to step into play. I think we could have tried to entice them onto us to use a spare man, but it wasn't to be, Tim. And you've got to credit both sides for a really entertaining game of football.
Obviously, it's the second game with the new sort of like formation at the back. Do you think there's still that period of adjustment coming in? Because obviously, when these are experienced guys. Do you think they're just kind of like just setting in the head after being used to being in a team?
Yeah, I do. But I think the three of them have probably got 1,000 games at this level under the belt. Between them, I think they've got to. Maybe if you look back on it, they could have worked it out a little bit cuter in the second half. We're trying to get messages on. We're trying to squeeze the midfielders up higher. I think when we look back at the game, we'll realise that we could have got the overload on the right and the left, and Curtis Jones and Charlie. But sometimes you stay at home because you don't want to get done on the counter attack. So it's certainly not too much criticism on their behalf. But I thought we could have been braver and used a spare man. We tried to make the changes. We tried to get an extra attacker on the pitch, but it wasn't to be. And they've got a chance right at the death. In Baxter's at the left foot, he's got great left foot and pulls it just wide. So, Tim, you can dress it whichever way you want. If you use Krakow, and I will use Krakow, that's 4 unbeaten after going 6 games without a win. So, delighted with the strength of character, delighted with the new system. It's working. It might not always work. We've conceded 3 goals with a new system tonight. So, arguably, people say that it may not have worked. But to come here on a difficult night on a difficult pitch to get a point, we'll be all right with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was surprisingly spicy. I think it was, there was basically obviously the red card, which is a combination of 2 yellows. It potentially could, I thought, had a yellow before that. So the referee, I think, sort of gave him enough chances to stay on. And then there was a set 2, I think, near the dugout.
Yeah.
There was definitely that spicy energy.
It was spicy, but I don't think there was a really malicious tackle in the game. I think Jay and myself will look back at that game and go, 8 yellows and a red. Was it really 8 yellows and a red? Probably not. I think there was a period in the second half that the ref did get a bit yellow card happy. He might look back on that and said, I've got that decision wrong, But it is hard. You're out there, you're under the spotlight, you're under the microscope, and he does what he thinks is the right thing to do. And, maybe we got a little bit of fortune on Saturday. We definitely didn't get any fortune with the penalty tonight. But over the course of the season, that kind of irons itself out. It was important, Tim, that we continued our unbeaten run. And now if we could follow that up on Saturday with a win, that'd be a great turnaround. So we've got to pick the positives out. Whichever way you look at it, people go, 10 men, you should win. You haven't got divine right to win any game of football. And Bamber Bridge are a really good footballing side, and they've shown beating Baseford here, 5-2. They're going to give teams good games, and Millie and Ilsey set the team up in the right way. So end-to-end game of football, 3-3. Credit Bamber Bridge for a point, credit us. More credit to the ground staff because they've had the work cut out to go and get that pitch right today. So, well done to everyone to get the game on.
Another player who he picked up the radio nomination of the Joseph Holt's man of the match was Charlie Munro, who started off like a train, then got an injury. We missed him for well over a month, and now basically he put in like a commanding performance in midfield again.
I think especially when you're part-time, the way we are, and you miss a large part of the season, like Munro did, like Dante did, like Curtis Jones has done, you only have that training session to get yourself right. Yeah, they can go and run on the road, they can go to the gym, but they haven't got that full-time level of getting back up to match speed. So we all know that when we've had an injury, it's going to take you 3 or 4 weeks to really get where you were. Curtis Jones just played 90 minutes back to back after being out 6 weeks. Credit. Charlie Munro, we were building our team around him in pre-season, and he got a bad ankle injury, and then he's had to come back to form and fitness. But he was great tonight. His goal, it's 2 in 2, immense. I think he'll look back at it second half and think maybe I could have stepped into play a little bit higher and got us higher up the park. But no, listen, no criticism. But it is nice to see your front two. And we have played a front two ball scoring tonight. Young Maxi getting a goal on his debut, and then Dante getting a goal, and obviously like a midfielder chipping in. But that doesn't mean we're happy at the top end of the pitch. We still want another striker. We're still working around the clock to bring another striker in. And that's this week's job, really. But happy with the chances we're creating. Generally happy the way we're defending. You ask the lads whether or not they're happy with the goals we're conceding, and they don't need the manager to come out here and tell them that. They'll know that we've got to do a little bit better there. But Tim, only 10 days ago we're all down in the dumps. We couldn't get a win, and all of a sudden you bounce over to Poland, you bounce to Lancaster, you play Guiseley, you bounce the Bamber Bridge games going thick and fast, and we've gone unbeaten. And that for me is amazing strength of character and a massive credit to that dressing room in there.
Okay, yeah, just one final question. I mean, obviously, to change the shape, basically, do you think that sort of your fullbacks or your wing-backs are getting forward as much as you would expect them to in that shape?
I thought guided. I thought Bet was too restricted here. I thought Mal was too restricted on Saturday as well. Maybe we've got to look at tweaking maybe the midfield three and getting a bit more energy in the wide areas. That'll be a criticism. But we are working on it. We're getting used to it. Rob's only had a little bit of time to go through it on the board. I think he's had 1 training session and 2 10-minute, tactical conversations before the game. So we've got to be braver. We know that. But we will be. We will be. And that's kind of our second formation. We may drop back into a 4-2-3-1. At times we may go into a 4-3-3. But it gives us a second option. And, you can't knock it. 2 games in with a new formation, 4 points. So far, so good, Tim.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll catch up before Matlock. So see you Thursday.
See you Thursday. Thanks a lot.
So, Charlie, congratulations to the Joseph Holt's man of the match as chosen by FCM Radio.
Thank you.
Another fantastic performance of your good self. I know you were close to winning it on Saturday with a goal. And then today, another commanding performance in the middle. Do you feel you're at your peak now in terms of your career at FC so far?
No, I'm still getting there. I mean, the 5 weeks off killed me a little bit just before the season, just as the first game started. So I'm building up now.
Yeah, I know. We just spoke to Reynolds and he said he was, basically the plan was to build a team around you.
Yeah.
Basically that sort of that real midfield general position. And, the goal you scored today was as good as any I've seen from a midfielder. You took the ball in midfield, strode past one player, and then took your time. Basically, you were super calm. Basically, when you were the goal, because the goalkeeper was rushing out at you, and you just sort of like dinked it over him. Was that going very quickly for you, or was it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to score a few more of them. I could do with scoring a few more goals and adding to my game. So yeah, at least it's a positive.
Yeah, and in terms of sort of like general, sort of like how do you feel the team's knitting around you?
Yeah, it's good. We'll get there. We've got a young team and we're changing. We've got a new formation, so it's going to take time for us to get used to it and get going.
Yeah. I mean, I think basically the game last Saturday against Lancaster could have gone anyway. Last Saturday just gone against Guiseley. Basically a bit of fortune with the penalty. Opposite fortune today. Fair to say their goal probably could have been allowed, or it shouldn't have been disallowed rather.
Yeah, I mean, we've conceded 4 goals, but if we go in at 2-0 at half time, it kills the game. So it's killed us on that behalf, but the goals are not good enough what we conceded.
Yeah.
So we need to learn from that quick.
Looking forward to Matlock. They've got hammered tonight. I think it was 4-0 they lost, so they're going to be coming back with a bit of bite, aren't they?
Yeah, well, every team in this league's tough. Every game is, so we've just got to be on our game.
Okay, well, last 2 games you've been absolutely on it, and today especially so because the Joseph Holt's man of the match is chosen by FCM Radio. Congratulations.
Cheers, thank you, Tim.